Good morning guys, what is happening, what is going on, what is good? Hope you all are having a great day. Guys, today we're going to be doing a lens review. I have here with me the 55 to 250 millimeter f4 to 5.6 lens, right? Canon, by Canon. So guys, the reason why I'm going to be doing a lens review on this bad boy is because I got to use him the other day at a music festival. So let me talk a little bit about what I actually have been doing for the past week because, well, I'll need to, right? This is the backstory, so of course I'm going to talk about it. So guys, the BBC, they commissioned me for a week to go and follow two bands, right, around different countries in the UK on their tour, right? Because they were performing at Radio 1's biggest weekend, which is when I got to use this lens. So for the past week, I've been following these bands around and I've been using one lens and one lens only. It's the lens that I actually use for pretty much everything, and that is the Sigma 17 to 17 millimeter f2.8 to 4.5 lens. I think it's a 4.5 lens, and it was perfect because the bands, they're up and coming, so they're not playing to like huge crowds. So it was like small clubs, very intimate stuff, and that lens was perfect. It was wide enough and it got close enough as well. So then I had 2 days off before having to go to the big festival, right? Now this festival, 20,000 people, if I'm not mistaken. I think it's 20,000, 15 to 20,000 people. So a lot different from clubs that can fit only 100 people. So I was like, okay, am I gonna need a lens that can zoom in closer than 70 millimeter or not? Because these two bands, they were performing at stage 2, which is the stage that the unsigned artists, but also the artists that are just starting out. That's where they perform at. They don't perform at the main stage. So normally second stages are quite small, so you don't need lenses like this unless you want like a really close-up shot of them. So at first I was like, I might not need it, but then by the way, this is my girlfriend's lens. So guys, thank you, Rebecca, thank you very much for letting me use your lens. Guys, go check her Instagram out and her YouTube account. Thank you very much. So I was like, listen, could I borrow this lens just in case I need to use it? And you know something, I'm so freaking glad that I asked her because this stage was huge. It was massive. The 17 to 17 millimeter, it just did not work at all. As soon as I saw the stage, I put this guy on and I did not take him off. It was the perfect lens. It was the lens that I needed. I was so super happy about this lens for many, many reasons. So guys, without further ado, let's talk about this lens. So we'll talk about the good things first because I have quite a lot to say about this lens in a good way, not in a bad way. So I had never used this lens prior to the festival, which was a couple days ago. So I didn't know how it worked. I didn't know, I couldn't get used to it. And sometimes with lenses, you need to get used to it, especially with like the focus and, you know, the zoom thing as well. So like, you know, like a couple days just to get used to it so that when you are shooting, because when you're shooting concerts, you need to be very, very quick. And I never used autofocus. I always use manual focus. So you need to be really quick with how you operate the lens, right? You need to get the zoom perfect, you need to get the focus as soon as possible, and then you need to shoot because you have a couple seconds before the guy's gonna move on to something else, right? So this was a fairly easy lens to use, and you know something, it is a very comfortable lens as well. It is super freaking light. This is the cheap 55 to 250 millimeter lens, all right? It's not the expensive one, it's the very cheap one. So it's made out of plastic, and it costs, right, 100 British pounds, which is roughly around like maybe $150, which is fucking amazing. This is like the cheapest lens after the 50 millimeter that I've used. So yeah, I mean, I've looked around online and I've seen it says 100 pounds, 90 pounds, 150 pounds, 200 pounds. So I think depending on where you go, you can get it for like, you know, varying prices. But you know something, for the cheap price that this is, it is freaking, like, it's amazing. Check out these pictures that I took. I had never really used a lens past 70 millimeter because, like I said, I never use any other lens apart from the Sigma that I use, and then this bad boy right here. So for me, this was a lot of fun. I could get really intimate, standing really far back. I hate getting into people's faces, especially musicians when they're performing, and sometimes I have to do that with my Sigma lens in order to get the shot that I want. But this guy, I could just stand way back, let them do their thing, and then just freaking shoot. Even when I went back, like on the stage, right from the back, I stood right in the corner, so out of the camera's ways and out of the band's ways, and I just got the shots that I wanted. So yeah, amazing. One thing that I want to mention about this lens, which blew me the fuck away, was the image stabilization. It felt like I had my camera on a tripod. There was no shake. As soon as I pointed, it just locked. And that was a godsend, because it locked, I could focus, right? Because see, like sometimes your image stabilization, like it works to a certain level, because you'll still have some shakiness, and then you'll need to keep focusing until you get that focus. But with this, boom, as soon as you lock, it just stays locked there, and then you can just focus really quickly, get your shot. So yeah, the focus is really sharp, really good. Also guys, just to let you know, I do use on my camera for when I do video a Voltrox monitor, which is what I'm using right now to see myself, because I am using a Sony A7S and I can't flip the screen. But for pictures, right, I actually just use my viewfinder, and goddamn dude, the images turned out beautiful, sharp. Oh, it was amazing. This was so easy to focus on. My Sigma lens is the worst to focus on, because it never gets me that sharp look that I want for pictures ever. It's always a little bit of a blur kind of soft look, which I actually don't mind. I quite like it, but sometimes I want like a nice sharp picture, and I managed to get that with video and photo with this lens. So it's amazing. I love the fact that it's super light, because when I'm going handheld, I can just, run around and stuff without having to worry about my shoulders getting sore, or like my wrists getting sore, or my forearm getting sore. Especially when I have my big camera rig for video, like this guy, it just makes life so much easier. I also felt like the durability of this was just like on another level. I wasn't scared in case this would break or anything. Like, man, like I'm actually just super blown away by this lens. If I did more concert photography, this lens would be in my bag all the freaking time, but I don't really do concert photography or videography that much. It's only ever once in a while, so I think for me buying this, it would be a waste of money. But the fact that Rebecca has it is amazing, because I can just steal it off of her whenever the hell I want to. So we'll talk about the bad points, all right? Because I think I pretty much cleared up the good points. It's just, it takes a good picture. It's very light. The sharpness is amazing. The image stabilization is one thing that blew me away. Like for me, at the end of the day, guys, if the scene is well lit, I can get a picture with any lens that, can basically like zoom into, 135. I bet you anything, if I was using the more expensive version of this, I'd still be able to get like the same images, because it's how you manipulate the light, for the photo. But the image stabilization was one thing that really blew me away. When I say locked, I mean, whew, it just locks, dude. Like it fucking locks. So amazing, blown away. I love the picture, and everything about the quality was so good. So the one thing that I was kind of not a fan of was the fact that, see the focus ring, it doesn't stick out. Like all my other lenses, the focus ring sticks out quite a lot, so that you can like see, like let's say for example, you've got the camera here, okay? Now, I had to keep looking for the focus, because it's so fucking like, it's so flat that, in fact, it's a bit of a dent. So you feel like you've got the focus ring, but then you actually don't, and you have to go down a bit more, and then you have to find it, because it doesn't stick out. It's just in the body. So like, unless you've used this lens a lot, and you know where the focus ring is, you're gonna have a bit of a problem, especially when you want to get those fast shots. Now, when I say that, I mean like, it'll delay you a couple of seconds, which is not that crazy. But if you want to get that specific shot, let's say for example, he jumps in the air and you want to get that shot of him jumping up, right? Dude, you're gonna need to like focus and then take the picture while he's in midair, which lasts like a second most. So for those kind of shots, like you might struggle a little bit until you learn how to use this lens, okay? Another thing that I noticed was, can you hear that? There's a lot of sound. So like when you're doing video and you want to focus, especially if you're doing an interview, you're gonna get noise in your shot. So it's not a smooth focus. It's a very noisy focus, but at the same time, it focuses like very sharp. So these are like little things, like, so I wouldn't use this lens for an interview, or if I did, I would make sure I get like the focus perfect, so that I wouldn't have to refocus it again. even because this is made out of like cheap plastic, even like, hear that? So that's very, very noisy. But I use this mostly for taking photos and for doing like the live videos. So I wasn't using the audio from the live audio. So like this, it doesn't matter. Neither does that. But I'm saying if I was using this lens for like interview purposes, it probably wouldn't be the best thing unless you get that shot that you want, and then you just stick to that. So you don't have to zoom in, zoom out, focus, unfocus, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I mean, this macro lens, okay, it did blow me away. Out of 10, I would probably give this guy, from just using it then, probably like a good 8 out of 10, because I'm still not used to it. I haven't used it to its full capabilities. Although when I say that, guys, I think I threw this bad boy in the fucking deep end by going to a music festival with like 20,000 people and having like 20 minutes to shoot all the footage that I needed to get and photos. So I think I did like use this guy to the maximum like possible usage thingy. But I haven't spent that much time with him. Only a day, which is not much, right, for a lens, because I mean, I don't know, maybe I caught him on a freaking good day and he's maybe like he doesn't work as well on other certain days, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays he probably doesn't work well, but maybe Saturdays and Sundays and Fridays he does. So yeah, aside from that though, from like what I've experienced with this guy, this is definitely a lens that is worth getting if you're into macro photography, if you're into like concert photography. I don't know if I would use this guy for like landscape stuff, because with landscapes you obviously want the huge landscape, so you want a wide angle lens, but this guy's a very up and close and personal lens. I would love to use him for portrait photography. So I'm seeing Rebecca today. I might do another lens review of this guy after taking some portraits of her. I'm not too sure yet. But yeah guys, so that is basically, I did talk about the cost. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this lens review. Let me know if you have any questions down below. I will be more than happy to answer them for you. In the meantime, guys, you know what to do. Subscribe, like, comment, follow me on the Instagrams. Show some support, guys. It'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. Have a great, fantastic, wonderful day. Peace.